MAGA, listen up. The First Amendment doesn't belong to Donald Trump, Brendan Carr, Elon Musk, or any billionaire who thinks your speech is a toy they can switch off when it stings. This week made Trump's stance on free speech crystal clear.
And somebody is given 97% of the stories are bad about a person, that's no longer free speech, that's just cheating.
ABC yanked Jimmy Kimmel Live and Trump's FCC hitmen started waving the badge like a Confederate flag at a Trump rally. Brendan Carr, Trump's hurt feelings police, threatened broadcasters over a monologue.
I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
That's not debate. That's the state leaning on the mic stand. And Trump, he stood in the Oval Office and said, when coverage of him is too negative, it's no longer free speech. That's authoritarian bullshit in a red tie and diapers. Please remember this moment, MAGA, because Trump is setting precedent for a Democrat president to shut down all of your beloved gossip dramas like Fox News and OAN. Let's call the roll. Donald Trump cheered the suspension and defended the threats. Brendan Carr dangled federal power over ABC/Disney and their affiliates, bragging that if they didn't handle Kimmel, there'd be additional work for the FCC ahead. That is textbook jawboning, the state coercing private actors to punish speech the government hates. Even Ted Cruz, yes, that Ted Cruz, could smell the stench and called it dangerous as hell, comparing Carr's threats to mafia tactics. When the guy who built a career fighting liberal media is warning your side about censorship, you've crossed a constitutional tripwire that could blow up the American experiment.
Look, I like Brendan Carr. He's a good guy. He's the chairman of the FCC. I work closely with him. But what he said there is dangerous as hell. He says, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Corporate America, you fucked up. Bob Iger and Disney greenlit the indefinite pull on Kimmel, then hid behind the predictable PR bullshit. Nextstar's Perry Sook and Sinclair's David Smith, both MAGA simps, rushed to posture for power and demand payment. Suddenly, the marketplace of ideas becomes a strip mall with a strict dress code. No jokes that upset Trump or go against his views. You want to talk brand safety? The only thing corporations are protecting is their bottom line. Don't sell Americans corporate greed disguised as moral standards. And for the free speech absolutists who made fortunes screaming the left was killing comedy, Joe Rogan, I'm looking at you. This is the test. Campus dust-ups and student protests aren't the state. This is the state. When Trump and his regime threatens broadcasters by name over a monologue and you go quiet, you didn't lose your voice. You sold it. And the price was access. The receipt is your silence. You go DEFCON 1 over college kids protesting. But when Trump aims the head of the FCC at a late-night host, you're silent. Not even a, well, both sides do it argument. Free speech is a right. It's supposed to be your line in the sand. If your outrage only flows one way, you're not a rebel. You're a weather vane with a microphone, and a billionaire lodged comfortably up your TRT ass. And spare me the sanitized corporate spin on Stephen Colbert. CBS says The Late Show dies in 2026 because finances. Maybe, but the timing came right after Colbert torched a Trump settlement, in the middle of merger politics that live and die on feelings of Baby Dawn, America's first mob president. No one needs a memo when the message is clear. Punch up at the Trump regime or MAGA cult members, and the accountants will find a reason to cancel you. That's how Trump's mob tactics are designed to work. Fear of government power does the censoring for him. He didn't invent this strategy. Disgusting leaders used fear to suppress dissent throughout human history, and Trump is no different. In 2017, Trump floated yanking NBC's licenses. In 2019, he wanted the DOJ and the FCC to look into SNL and Kimmel for jokes, so he has been planning this for a long time. In 2020, he signed an executive order to sic regulators on the internet because he hated being fact-checked. The pattern is the point. Scream free speech in public, and the cult believes the leader, then reach for the state when the punchlines land and the cult cheers. That's not conservatism. That's state-sponsored fragility sprinkled with hypocrisy. And since we're talking free speech absolutists, let's talk about Elon Musk, the human who might have lower self-worth than Donald Trump. The chainsaw-wielding patron saint of the digital town square that proclaimed after Trump was elected that comedy is alive. At CPAC, suspended journalists, throttled links, and played whack-a-mole with critics, then claimed it was all about safety. Call it what it is. Elon protecting his worldview. The principle doesn't change just because it's private. If you build a platform on everyone gets a voice and then kneecap the press and your detractors, you're running a Potemkin town square. Here's the law, not the vibe. The Supreme Court unanimously said government officials cannot coerce private parties to punish disfavored speech. You can argue, you can criticize, you can boycott. What you can't do is weaponize federal power to make the joke go away. When Trump's FCC chair threatens broadcasters by name and the White House cheers, that's not persuasion. That's unconstitutional intimidation by the president himself. If Trump and his FCC can bully a network today, a school board can bully a teacher tomorrow. A sheriff can bully a local paper next week, all of which is happening now. Speech rights aren't a VIP lounge for Trump and his billionaires tech bros. They're the armor ordinary American citizens wear against the powerful, both from the right and the left. Take that armor off, and the bullies don't stop. They get braver. And right now, Trump is succeeding in destroying your armor. So here's the rule, carved in granite for now. The government doesn't get to decide what jokes you hear. Not for Trump, not for Biden, not for anybody. If you hate Kimmel, change the channel. If you hate Colbert, don't watch. If you hate me, fuck off. But if you cheer when politicians and regulators swing the hammer at speech they don't like, don't ever say freedom again with a straight face and a red MAGA hat. You don't believe in free speech. You believe in speech that makes you feel good. So let's finish this in plain English. Donald Trump, stop cosplaying as the First Amendment's bodyguard while you strangle it with your tiny hands. Brendan Carr, you swore an oath to the Constitution, not to Trump's astronomical ego. Get some balls for the sake of America. Bob Iger, Perry Sook, Nexstar, David Smith Sinclair, stop laundering your political agendas through brand standards and pretending it's principles. Joe Rogan and every comic who built a brand on I hate censorship, this is the fight you said you were born for. Get out of the ice bath and get in the fight. Because in this country, the punchline is supposed to smash power, not our First Amendment.